Being the boss of your life, even when you're not the manager at work. Here are 7 keys to help you do so that are atypical and that will help increase your confidence, increase your self-advocacy, and feel like you're the main character of your life. Hello, gorgeous. It's Jenna. Thank you so much for coming back to another episode. Jonathanopoulos, your certified life coach here to help corporate women release stress and feel like the boss of their lives, even when they're not the manager. So today we're going to talk about specifically that, right? I'm going to give you 7 keys to help you really feel like you're becoming quote unquote that woman, right? Being that model of your life, being that main character of your life, growing that self-confidence. And I really wanted to speak to 7 underrated keys that maybe aren't talked about as much when it comes to really growing your self-confidence, whether personally, professionally, or just feeling like you're more in flow with life. You're not carrying like a huge backpack, lugging things around you, lugging stress around you, lugging thoughts around you, feeling bogged down by overthinking, feeling bogged down by comparison, feeling bogged down by just not scheduling things properly. Whatever the case may be, I feel like these are 7 keys that can really help, grow connection within your relationships, grow connection within yourself, and feel more empowered in your career and in your life in general. So these will really help you. These are coming from a certified life coach approach. So these are concepts based on my coaching certification. They're concepts based on what's tried and true in the corporate workplace, and also just some tips and keys from my advice, my wisdom, and from my clients that I've seen throughout my clients and throughout my coaching institute clients. So let's get into it today. Hope you're doing well. I am having a little Synergy Guava Goddess kombucha today. So grab your Guava Goddess kombucha, grab your drink, whatever you're drinking, and let's get into it today. So the first key that we're going to talk about is kind of atypical, as I mentioned, but it's getting in touch with anger, with your inner anger, and realizing that your anger is sacred. Okay, I think for a lot of women, it's scary to admit when we're angry. It's scary to have a voice, to express ourselves, right? Because maybe when we were younger, anger was a really explosive emotion in our household, whether it be when your parents got angry, they got explosive, you didn't feel safe. Or maybe you were in a household where anger just wasn't talked about. It wasn't allowed, you weren't allowed to be angry, right? It was like, why are you angry? Stop, like be quiet. Like good girls don't get angry. Why are you upset? Right? So you can kind of have 2 extremes when it comes to working with and being exposed to the emotion of anger when you're younger, which could actually influence how you are expressing yourself in your relationships, expressing yourself in your workplace, and expressing yourself just throughout your life, because anger is an expressive emotion. It needs to be let out, and it can be let out in a healthy way. I'm here to shift the perspective for you that anger needs to be this huge, explosive emotion that, kind of like affects everyone and in your path and, just destroys everything. Anger can be released in a very productive, healthy, and safe way so that you can come back feeling refreshed, feeling more clarity, feeling like you took like a weight off of you, and so much more. Okay, I actually have like a full kind of like episode when it comes to getting in touch with your anger and building a healthy relationship with anger. So I'll put that in the show notes below if you want to get more into this. But getting in touch with your inner anger is key to becoming that queen of your life. Because like I said, it allows you to validate your needs more, okay? Getting angry it's not wrong, right? That the emotion of anger is not wrong. It shows that there was something that happened, right? That you did not feel was in alignment with what you deserved, right? Was in alignment with how you want to be treated. It was in alignment with what you would have expected in someone's behavior, whatever the case may be, right? It's that emotion to show, that something was not right here. It's an indicator. Emotions can be indicators. And so when you have that emotion of anger come up and you don't necessarily know how to work with it, maybe someone at work pissed you off. Maybe your significant other has been doing things that have been just taking you off more than normal, and you're just holding it in. You're holding it in. You don't know what to do with it. Later on, it's going to build either resentment in your relationship, resentment towards your work, and you're going to feel like almost like the victim because you haven't expressed yourself properly. And the key to really being that advocate in your life and that deeper main character in your life is letting that emotion come out of you. So like I said, I have a full kind of episode that talks about how to work with anger in a productive way. This is what I do with my clients, but I help you get in touch with your inner anger, release it in a healthy way, and then know, okay, how can I express my need that was not being met, which caused, the anger to be to rise within me, right? Because when you just realize that anger is an indicator, you let it release properly. And then after that emotional release, think of your emotion as like a wave. After the wave has passed and you've come to shore, you actually can see think about it as like a clear sky. After the wave has passed, you come to shore, you feel like there's a clear sky above you, and you know your next steps. You either know the conversation you want to have next with a coworker, with your bestie, with your boyfriend, as I mentioned. You know what you want to say in regards to what is expected of someone's behavior towards you and what's not, whatever else the case may be. But getting in touch with that anger and letting it release is so key, especially as a woman, right? Because our DNA obviously carries with it generations of it stores generations of information, generations of trauma. Trauma can actually be passed generationally. So through the womb, think about it I think it's about seven generations. It can be 3 to 7. I'll fact check it, but generations can carry trauma that was caused from that initial person 7 generations ago. So if you think about that, think about how many, think about your great-great-grandmother and how hard it was for women during that time, and how little of a voice women had during those times. Women are still facing so many, how do I say it? So many hardships and so many, whatever hardship is the word. I'm losing my words, but women are still facing so much adversity now. Think about what it was like when we literally didn't have a voice, when we had to just subdue and do as we were told. Think about how much anger and was stored from those times because we couldn't express ourselves, because we didn't have those opportunities that we have now. And so when you now, as the present, you let yourself express that anger, work with your anger, you're letting yourself release generations of trauma that could have been stored in your DNA. And I know that sounds pretty intense, but it's basically just understanding that obviously generations carry with them so much trauma within their DNA and so much experiences, and it's up to us to shift those generational patterns now. We have so many resources available to us. It's up to us to be resourceful, to learn, okay, this isn't working in my life and I need to take the steps to release it. And getting in touch with your anger is a great way to do so, because it allows you to get in touch with that emotion, to release it, and then to express yourself, to advocate for yourself, to speak for your needs. So you're not feeling like you're walking through your life feeling like a victim, feeling like you have so much resentment towards people, and so many other things because you haven't expressed yourself. And just one other thing I want to note about anger. If you feel like you're that person who has a lot of self-judgment or who has a deep inner critic, that is an indication that there could be some stored anger, because anger can either kind of stored anger can either express itself in 2 ways. Either you have a deep inner critic, it's very inward. So you have a deep inner critic, you're really hard on yourself, almost like that anger comes inwards towards you. Or you can think about it as the anger is expressed outward very easily. So maybe you have a low temper, you get really impatient, you get very it's easier for you to have outbursts and get irritated at work. It's because you have not properly released that emotion and come to a more clean slate within your emotional body. So that's why getting in touch and working with anger is so, so key to being that woman in your life who's more confident, who's more expressive, who advocates for herself, whether in the workplace or whether in relationships. Because like I said, it's that indicator, that emotion is that indicator of when your needs were not being met, and you need to allow yourself to understand, okay, what do I need? How can I express it? And how can I express it from a clean slate rather than from just being irritated, annoyed, and then I feel like my need never gets met because I'm just yelling instead of being productive with my anger. So like I said, That is a really, really important key when it comes to stepping into and being that woman of your life. Okay, and number two key to being that woman is using and allocating your money in a way that's in alignment to you. Spending your money in a way that nourishes you and that is in alignment with your values, with your goals. This has been so huge for me since starting my kind of like career and, you know, since having my own income base and supporting myself, right? This has been such a huge learning curve for me, because at the beginning of my kind of like my full-time job, having a career, fully supporting myself, you know, there were so many moments when I was spending, but I was spending the money and I was like, I thought I was spending it for the right reasons. I thought I was, you know, spending it because it felt good to me, but I was spending it because it was what either my friends were doing, it was what I thought would look cute on social, it was what I thought I needed to do because I viewed myself as, I had this image of myself in like college where, I don't know, I was so funny, but like I loved, like in college, I was obsessed with brands. Like I was obsessed with luxury brands. Like in my not dorm room, but in my apartment, like in college, I had like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, like portraits. What else did I have? Oh, I had like the Christian Louboutin shoes. And I was like, this is gonna be me, like right post college. Like I'm gonna have everything luxury. I got the Cartier, like it's gonna be great. And I solely viewed like, I had such a wrong perception on what wealth actually was, and what you know, proper spending actually was. I was like, oh, as long as I, you know, can buy these luxury brands, that means I'm like wealthier. That means I'm, you know, doing well with my money. And that's not the case at all, right? Money is really an extension of your values, and it's an extension of basically what you want to put your emphasis in the future. So if you know, you just need to kind of like rearrange the way that you're thinking about and allocating your money. And two huge things that have been really helpful for me are asking myself, okay, would I spend money on this if I didn't post it? That's really, really key. Because if others didn't know you were spending on this, would you still do it? Would it still be fulfilling to you? Would it still fill your cup? That is so key. I know it's basic, but it's so important to know. And secondly, having allocation buckets has been huge for me. So what I like to do is I use the app called, I'm not sponsored by the way, but I use this app. It's called Qapital. You can use, this is not financial advice as well either. I'm not a certified financial planner. I'm just a CPA, but this is just really, really great. That has been game changing for me. And they actually taught us, like specifically, they taught us this as well in my money module in my coaching certification. They taught us this, and so I want to share a little insight with you. But having allocation buckets for your money is huge. So basically what this means is you can kind of have it recurring where out of each paycheck, you could have like different buckets that a certain percentage of your income goes to, or you could do it where you have like $10 each week or $50 each week or whatever the case may be. And you basically set up different savings buckets. So for me, I have one that's maintenance, personal / beauty. And each like week I put in a certain amount of money that goes directly into that bucket so that I know I have like saved up money specifically for when I want that next hair appointment, when I want my eyebrows done, when I want my nails done. I have like a certain amount of money each week that I allocate to that bucket so that when I go do that beauty thing, I have that money and it's already allocated. I have a certain allocation bucket for travel, and each week I put a certain amount for travel on my next trip. I have an allocation bucket for, what else do I have one for? Oh, for gifts. So that I have like money saved up for birthday gifts and for Christmas gifts. Each week I put in, like it automatically saves money to that bucket. And this is so, so key because it allows you to put your money where your values are, to put your money towards what's important to you. And like just even defining like what your allocation buckets are helps you define your values and your goals, and thus that allows you to like put your money towards where your values and where your goals are. Like for me, for example, you know, I value maintaining myself, maintaining my like eyebrows, maintaining my hair, whatever the case may be, right? So I'm gonna set aside an allocation bucket for that. For myself, I value giving my friends gifts, like giving them little flowers every now and then, giving good Christmas gifts. So I'm gonna set an allocation bucket for that. I value investing in myself, so I have an allocation bucket for that. I value trips and travel, so I have a bucket for that. You get the idea, right? And like I said, this isn't exactly how I plan all my finances, but it's a way that really allows me to feel nourished, that I'm actually putting my money towards what's important and what's like valuable to me, and that I always have those kind of like buckets building in the background. It just feels really supportive to me. And it was what we were taught in our, just like a little insight we were taught in our coaching certification. So I wanted to just share it with you and see if you could implement it in your financial strategy as well. And it helps you feel so empowered because, like I said, your money is an extension of you. Your money is energy, and energy needs to flow in a way that's conducive to your highest potential, basically, right? Like think about it at work. At work, you want to do the tasks that energize you. You want to do the tasks that allow you to flow and to feel focused and to feel productive and good. The same thing goes with money. You want it to flow towards things that energize you, towards what's going to build your future, what's going to build that foundation. So that's why I love having and implementing that money allocation strategy, and always asking myself, would I purchase this? Would I spend this if I wouldn't share it on social, right? Just a little something. Third key to being that woman, and it sounds so simple, but the more you lean into it, the more important it's going to be and the more impactful it's going to be. But this is being a self-advocate in your workplace, okay? I know a lot of you who listen are corporate women, and I really want you to hone in on the fact of, am I expressing what I desire in my workplace? Am I communicating with the people that I want to communicate with? Am I expressing interest in the projects that I want to, be involved in? Am I taking the initiative to be involved in whether firm initiatives or supplemental things at the firm that mean something to me? Am I speaking up, and am I sharing my ideas, right? And you need to ask yourself those questions, because that allows you to be that propeller and that owner in your career, right? When I was first kind of starting off, I did things a lot more passively. I wasn't really directly expressing myself of like, I would be interested in this project, or I'm curious about this initiative. Can you share some more about it? Or I just wasn't direct when I was communicating with my like coaches or my management. You need to be direct, and you need to ask for what you want and ask for what you're interested in, and also ask for feedback directly, right? And you could say it in a very frank way, actually. So what's actually really helpful with this as well, if you want to start navigating maybe more difficult conversations at work, when it comes to maybe if you're not having your needs met, or you're not you feel like your message isn't coming across as at work as well, is I always work with my clients on nonviolent communication. So there are ways for you to express the facts that are going on in a work situation, and then what you would basically from the situation. There's ways to express it that can be very professional, that can be very very professional, and also are not, it allows you to say things in a way that's not accusatory. So like I said, if you want to go ahead and start maybe have a conversation about that as well, you can just DM me. We can get on a free call, and I can maybe give you some insights to get you started when it comes to nonviolent communication in the workplace and stuff. But anyways, like I said, being that self-advocate is so key, and being direct. I just did a podcast episode with she's basically a Pilates instructor. She's amazing. And she was saying, she's like, it's such a game changer when you actually ask for what you want, right? People can't know how to help you if you don't ask them to help you, or you don't let them know what would actually be helpful for you. So always ask that in the back of your head today, maybe as you start your day, how can I be my advocate for myself today? Is there anyone I want to speak to? Is there anything I want to communicate in regards to something I'm doing at work? Is something just not sitting well with me? And is there a couple questions I could ask, maybe upper management or my coworkers that would help me feel more settled about a situation? Whenever you lean in and you ask those deeper questions, or you speak up for yourself, that allows you to really own the day and feel like, okay, you're not a victim to your work or a victim to your situation, but you're starting to take that empowered action to speak up, to express, and then to see how it's met, right? So, and I know this is definitely easier said than done, and this varies on management, this varies on a project basis, on a team basis, but just always keep it in the back of your head. And like I said, if you need more support when it comes to this, feel free to DM me for a free call, and we could kind of get you set up on maybe a regimen to feel more empowered at work, to feel more empowered in your work day. That's basically what all I do in my coaching is help you feel less stressed and more empowered through mind-body tools, stress release, nervous system regulation, and all the things. Because there's probably like a few things that are not allowing you to feel empowered through your workday, whether it be kind of like maybe your nervous system is out of whack, you're not expressing yourself, you're not sure how to be direct when you're communicating, you don't know how to prioritize things properly. There's like a bunch of things that can be affecting your like day not flowing the way you want it to. So we can kind of talk to me. We'll get on a 30-minute call. I'll set you up with a diagnostic or just like initial insights. And then from there you can take it, or we can go ahead and schedule if you want to have a full session or get into a full package. But that's always an offer for you that I wanted to relate to you. But that's so huge, is being that self-advocate. Okay. Next key is define the why, or know your why behind your daily actions. Okay. It's so easy to get caught. Like this was me today. It's so easy to get caught in the actual like nitty gritty of the day and like get really bogged down on yourself, get really upset. Like this happened to me today. I was like, literally, I had to compare like different account numbers, like a lot of account numbers, because I'm doing this like transformation thing. But anyways, so I had to compare a lot of account numbers, and I was like in Excel, I was starting to lose it a little bit. I was like, this is not it. And you know what? I had to come back to, I'm not a victim, right? If you want to start to be the queen of your life, to be the boss babe of your life, be that woman, you cannot fall into victimhood. When you catch yourself in that victimhood mindset, that victimhood mentality, you need to ask yourself and tell yourself, are you choosing this still? And why are you choosing this? Okay, because there's always another choice to make. There's always another choice to make to get you to a different situation, right? You may think that there's not, but there actually is. And so you need to ask yourself, am I still choosing this, and why? And so I had to do that for myself today. I had to be like, okay, I'm doing this stupid comparison for these account numbers because right now I'm choosing to build my brand within financial transformation, to learn more about it in my firm, and to really, continue to build a reliable name for myself. Whatever the case may be, that was like my why in that moment, right? But you need to come back to an empowered why when you start to find yourself in victimhood. And it's okay to be in that victimhood now and then, right? Like we're human, we're normal, we're gonna get pissed off, we're gonna get annoyed, right? But I really want you to start to not live in that mentality, to not live in that way of being for so long that it becomes a habit, that it becomes a way of being, right? Because people, I'm sure you know those people in your life who basically live as victims, live as those complainers, live as, oh, woe is me, this is happening to me. I know so many people in my life who have a lot of hardship, who are going through a lot of things, but they are not victims. They are taking, their struggles as they come, and they are empowered, and they're asking, how can I still show up strong through this? How can I still be resourceful through this? I have so many amazing people in my life who inspire me. So, it's really important for you to understand, how can I not be a victim in my, whether workplace or in my, whatever situation you may be in, and how can you start to take in that empowered mindset? And obviously this is a scale, and this is a range, right? I don't want you to like say, because I can just know that this could be twisted to, well, it's not my fault if I was, when it comes to like assault or something, right? And I don't want to speak lightly on that. And I know that it's not your fault, and don't be a victim in that situation. But, there is a way to start to feel safer within yourself, to start to feel more grounded, more empowered, and then build up from there. There's a range of things. And like I said, I'm also a trauma-informed coach, so I can understand the range that being a victim can fall into. But I want you to just understand that, when it comes to those day-to-day stuffs, when it comes to, your day-to-day workplace stuff, getting annoyed at work, or, whatever the case may be, how can you shift to, what is my why here? What am I choosing? And then anchoring back in, right? And that also allows you to kind of, ask deeper questions about maybe why are you here? Why are you in this situation right now? Why are you in this like workplace or job or relationship, right? And when you start to ask those questions, it's really impactful. It's really powerful, because you're forced to shift from that victim to that empowered person through that question. That question allows you to take back the reins. That question allows you to think about things more critically, so that in the future you don't have years where you're like, oh my gosh, why was, there's years down the line and you're like, oh, why was like I in this for so long, or why did I stay in this situation for so long? Having those little questions to bring you back into that why allows you to kind of stay empowered and to stay in a path that you want to choose and building on your vision. So that's really key. The last key that I want to speak to is letting your inner child come out. This is so key, okay? Especially as a corporate woman, we can be like, we're the boss babes. We can stay in our heads. We can be in our thought processes. We can be like owning the day. And then we get so like rigid and so caught up in, okay, I need to do this. I need to execute. I need to send this email so formally and make sure I'm being like, properly having a proper vision in my workplace or whatever the case may be. We start to subconsciously dim that inner playful light within us. And I don't want you to feel like that light is dim, because then you can start to feel like you're moving through the motions of life. You're not connecting with what's, joyous to you. And you might just start to feel like as an extreme example, start to feel like that work robot, right? You're a woman, you're feminine, you're intuitive, you're fun, you're exciting, you're emotional, you're full of zest. You're so multifaceted. You're not just this person who is an output and just does X, Y, Z, right? Connect to that inner playful side within you. And a great way to do this is connecting to that inner child, right? What did you love to do as a child? What lit you up? Or it could just be as simple as having little check-ins, like before you start your workday or after the workday, where you visualize your younger self. This is a great exercise. You sit, close the laptop, right? Maybe your laptop's closed. You sit, you visualize your younger self and just ask, what do you need today? What do you need to hear? And you tell it to yourself. And you give yourself a little hug. And then you put your inner child back in a place where she loved, right? You can put her back in grandma's house. You can put her back in the playground if she liked it. You could just visualize that. Do this as a little exercise. And that's a great way to stay in touch with that inner child part of you. Because that inner child part of us, right? That's the part of us that can really get neglected and feel like we're never taking care of ourselves, and like it can always we can get in this rat race of like not having our needs met, but not knowing why. And it's because we are not showing up for ourselves and meeting our own needs first. We're going to expect everyone else to meet our needs. We're going to expect our partner to meet our needs, our job to meet our needs, our coworkers, our loved ones or our partners to meet our needs, but we need to show up for us first. And a great way to do that is to ask your inner child what she needs to hear today. Is there anything she needs you to do? Whether it be listen to a song, whether it be just give her encouragement, whatever little thing you can do. And this may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you may have a hard relationship with your inner child, or your childhood was very difficult and it's hard for you to envision maybe a time when your inner child felt super empowered or happy. But just try it in a way that feels nourishing to you. And if you want deeper support on this is definitely where coaching would come in as well. But you could just try this little exercise and see what resonates with you, and kind of go from there. That's one way you can really do your inner child justice. And also just letting yourself feel inner radiance, feel an inner light, is so key. So whether that be letting yourself get excited for something for a couple seconds and really feeling that excitement within you, feel that radiance within you, right? Maybe it could be, I don't know, maybe you get really asking yourself, what makes you feel the most alive? Ask yourself and sit with that question. When was it the last time you felt so just in line with life, so alive, so fun, so playful? And you just answer it, right? And then you can see, okay, how can I bring this feeling, this energy into my day? Answer it, and then feel that emotion that you had in that past moment, right? And just let yourself feel that light, feel that radiance. And you could do that before your workday, in the middle of the workday, at the end. And it's a great way to get in touch with that inner playful side of you. Another important key to being that woman in your life is crafting intentions for your day. This is something that I absolutely love and adore when I start my workday. So you can do this in a variety of ways. Basically, you can just have a journal at the beginning of your workday, and this is something simple that you can do. One, you can write out a few words that you want to embody that day. So it can be for example, yesterday my words were focus, clarity, ideas, alignment. So focus, clarity, ideas, alignment, because I wanted myself to just have a good focused Monday, get more ideas for how I can start to build more things within my career, and just feel like the day was flowing and aligned. And whenever I felt like, maybe work was getting hectic or it was hard to like kind of settle down, I come back to my words that I wrote down at the beginning of the day. I reread them. I take a few breaths. I connect my body with the words. I try and like feel them within my heart space. You could try them or you could just try and like do like a little dance session for like a minute and like do a dance as if you're dancing to those words, right? So like flow, how would you dance if you were dancing in flow, right? So do like a little flow dance, right? If your word was focus, maybe dance, but like be really focused and still. If your word was alignment, just let yourself feel really like aligned and maybe swaying a little bit, right? So connecting your body with the words is really great because like I said, it's a great way to relax your nervous system. It's all about that mind-body connection. So I love crafting intentions for my day and crafting a few words to start my day with. So highly suggest that. And you could also start it with an affirmation as well. So you can do like, basically, I am like, literally you can do an affirmation for quite literally anything, but I like to stick with like 3 to 4, because you could always come back to those and use those as anchors when your day gets hectic. So when your work day gets really hectic, when, your manager's annoying you, when you're sick of this work task, you come back to those affirmations, you come back to those words, you reread them, you re-anchor, and then you go forward. It's just a great way to anchor you when you feel like you're getting really ungrounded, unstable during the day. So I love crafting intentions for my day and then looking back at how the things in my day manifested in relation to those intentions, because it's really cool. Like for example, today, one of my words was grounded, and I just took a walk like an hour before this video, and I felt so grounded, lol. I felt so grounded and in touch with nature in my walk, and I haven't felt that way in a while. And so it's just crazy how my word was grounded, and I quite literally felt grounded with the earth. So it's really cool to kind of see how your initial intentions manifest throughout the day and kind of get reflected to you throughout your workday. So it's really, really cool, and it allows you to feel like you're kind of steering the sail for your day because you're setting some intentions. I had this great, I went to this training a couple weeks ago, and this great facilitator was like, we're only gonna be in this training for a day and a half. It's gonna fly by. You can sit here and let the time pass and just watch the clock and just kind of sit and do your thing. Or you can set one intention and you can embody it, and you can come back to it when you're getting bored, when you're wanting to wander, and you could really have great results through this training. And it was so transformational to do that. Like I set my intention, mine was like to network and build more relationships. And I set that intention, I connected with more people, I was intentional. And you feel like you're gaining more out of the day when you're intentional, when you start it, right? And you don't have to do this every day. If you want some of those days just to be like passive and flowy and whatnot, then you don't have to set an intention. But if you want a day where you're like, okay, I really want to set my sail today, I want to focus on these 3 to 4 words to kind of anchor in my day, set those intentions and see how they kind of, manifest from your day and from setting them. So that's really exciting. So with that, I hope that you really enjoyed today's video and today's podcast. If you're listening through the podcast, these are some really important and I think atypical keys that really allow you to feel like that woman in your life, in your workplace, in your relationships. And like I said, if you want to dive deeper on these within your life personally, so you can really start to kind of gain confidence, release stress, then we can go ahead and just DM me for a free 30-minute discovery call. We could see if coaching is right for you, where you're seeing your struggles. I have like a full form that you fill out so I can understand how to best support you in your situation, so you can start to feel really empowered and like the queen of your life. But hope these are great keys for you. I'll talk to you again soon. Cheers, stay aligned, drink your little kombucha, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, babe.